to tell the difference between British English and Indian English.
I am going to tell which are the words called in Indian English.
I am going to tell which are the words called in British English.
We call this as in Indian English, lady's finger.
We call this as in British English okra.
We call this as in Indian English, brinjal.
We call this in British English aubergine.
We call this as in Indian English, curd.
We call this in British English yogurt.
We call this as in Indian English, bus stand.
In British English, we call this as bus station.
In Indian English, we call this as sir.
We call this as in British English mister.
In Indian English, we call this as cousin.
In the British English, we do call this as cousin.
In Indian English, we call this as dicky.
In British English, we call this as cardboard.
In Indian English, we call this as current.
In British English, we call this as electricity.
In Indian English, we call this as sugar.
In British English, we call this as diabetes.
In Indian English, we call this as capsicum.
In British English, we call this as pepper.
Thank you.